The second skill we're going to look at with this worksheet is tinting and shading. Tinting is when you add white to lighten a color. Shading is when you add black to darken a color. Now you can also, instead of just using black, you could use a darker variety of that color. So for example, if I'm going to complete this exercise with my true blue pencil, I can tint it on the white side with white, and I can shade it on the dark side with black. But if I want my shading to be a little less subtle, because the black's really going to darken it, I could take either my Copenhagen blue pencil that's darker than true blue, or my indigo blue pencil, which is also darker than true blue, to darken that up. And I'm gonna demonstrate that now. Okay, so you're gonna start this one in the same way you did the two above. You're gonna create that dark. Create that dark to light fade. Okay, so on the left we're dark, and as we come over here, it's going to be very light. Start building in between. A little bit of sharpening to my pencil point. Okay, I'm going to smooth that out. Now we're going to add the contrast to this, because that's what adding black and white or dark and light does to your work. It creates contrast. And contrast is that pop, that oomph. So right now we just have that basic value scale that we just did in the last step. So on the light side, I'm going to take my white and I'm going to blend that in. The white sometimes works just like your blending pencil, but it gives it like a creamier appearance. Okay, when we're layering our pencils together, you want to think about it like making a sandwich. Okay, so you want to layer on top. So where that white comes, we're gonna just kind of blend in so that fades a little bit. Okay, now down here where it's dark, you can shade by using black, or you can also use a darker color. So I'm gonna start with this medium blue, the Copenhagen. Let's see that start to blend in here. So that slightly makes that left side darker. If I wanted to make it even darker, I could go in with the indigo blue and I could start to layer that in. Now the more colors you put in, the more solid it looks. And you start to lose that appearance of the pencil. Okay, and that's what's really nice about the Prismacolors and some similar brands that are the soft core pencils. They blend really well, they layer really well, and they create this very thick, solid appearance once you really get them in there. Okay, and now I'm going in with my black, just a little bit. And I always say tiptoe with the black, because if you press hard, it's just gonna eat up your color. So I'm just very softly blending black over top where I want it to darken. And then I'm gonna layer my true blue back on there. Okay, so we're not using any sort of blending, colorless blenders for this activity. But just keep in mind that if you're ever using a colorless blender, you should layer all of your colors first before you even apply a blender. Okay, so let them all blend together first. Get them on there, okay? And there we go. We have a very similar value scale to above, but again, it has that extra punch of contrast where it gets extra light down here and extra dark right here. Okay, so you're gonna do the same thing on this side, but I want you to find like a yellow or an orange. So for this one, I just chose Spanish orange. You can use anything in the yellow-orange family because I want you to realize that when we tint with yellow or orange, we still keep the white, okay? But when we shade with yellow or orange, we do not use black. Black and yellow do not give you very nice combination. It doesn't blend very well. It kind of makes this like greenish, yucky color. Okay, so whenever you want to darken a yellow or brown, yellow or orange, you want to use a brown as your neutral to add that shading in there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the same thing, and I'm going to do this quickly here. Okay, darken up the left. Let that fade down. Super duper soft. A little bit darker, a little bit darker. Okay, it's a very quick fade there. So I'm going to lighten up my light side. Blend that in. Okay, so lighten that side up. And then over here, I pulled out two browns. I pulled out my light umber and my dark brown. Those are kind of my go-tos. So I'm gonna very softly, again, the same way I said with the black, just tiptoe it in, whisper it in. You can always add more, but if you go too dark, you can't take it away. And then I'm gonna let this fade out. And I could do my color sandwich. I could take that Spanish orange back over top and just softly use that to blend on there. Okay, and if I want a more dramatic shade, I'm going to go in with a dark brown all the way on the left and just softly put that in there too. Blend that back in. Okay. And so I use my brown to tint and shade my yellow or orange. Okay, so for the first one, pick any colors you want, and for the second one, use yellows and oranges so you can demonstrate that you would use brown to do your shading.